Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome back here to Wellington for our efficiency loops and things like that. You know the drill, except this time it's 16 degrees Fahrenheit outside, freezing cold, and we're gonna run the Hummer EV in a cold weather 60, 70, and 80 mile an hour efficiency test. I recently did this with the R1S. You guys seem to like it and find it interesting. I found it pretty interesting, so I'll walk you through the testing procedures, and then you guys let me know if you want me to do anything different going on in the future, because this is the start of me doing these tests. This is the Hummer EV, and of course it's freezing cold outside, so here's the deal. I'm DC fast charging it to 80%. I actually just did another charging test on this, so the battery is warm. I thought the testing procedures to have a warm battery would make sense personally, and because we're going cold outside, but of course as we drive throughout the test, things would get warmer and warmer if we started with a cold battery, giving, less and less advantage to that first initial run. So I thought, get the temperatures right, run it at 60, 70, and 80. We can do this in the summertime as well when temperature doesn't play as much of a role. But yeah, doing it here in the winter. So I figured we'll charge them up to 80%. We'll head out on the loop. There we go. It seems to have just clicked off at 80%. We only put 2.6 kilowatt hours in there because, well, I had just charged it up pretty much to full previously and had to drain it down. So everything's nice and warm. We've kicked off at 80% state of charge. And what we're gonna do is jump in the truck and run the efficiency. So let me talk about what I'm expecting to find, and then we'll do the test. So it's not super important that we leave at the exact same state of charge every single time, but I think I am gonna charge it up to 80% and then go. What I don't wanna do is do one run at 80% and then another run at 20% where there might be more heat loss because I have to output more current. A couple interesting things about Hummer EV. 9,000 pounds, 35-inch tires. In our 70 mile an hour range test, this one has 3 permanent magnet motors, no disconnects. We got 318 miles, 313 miles, somewhere around there, mid-teens, 300s, and got 1.4 miles per kilowatt hour. So I'm expecting in the cold temperature, maybe we'll match that at 60, and then it should go downhill from there in terms of efficiency. But what's interesting is Hummer EV has a heat pump. So I've seen the heater pull up to 13 kilowatts. Crazy beefy heater in this thing, but just maintaining cabin temperature here, it's only using 2 kilowatts. So that's really only to spike heat into the cabin. It's got a pretty good heater. I am going to run heated seats because I think that's representative of a cold weather test. It's 16 degrees Fahrenheit outside according to the truck. And so our first run's going to be run at 60. We'll come back, charge it up to 80, then go run 70 miles an hour, come back, and then run 80 miles an hour. It's going to be a long night, but yeah, we'll see how the efficiency spread is. And if you guys find this interesting, my watch has recorded the whole thing. If you guys find this interesting, let me know. If you don't, I won't keep doing them, but I find it pretty interesting. So let's head out. We'll reset our trip and let's do this. So I've got our charge limit set to 80% state of charge. Are you sure you want to reset your trip? Yes. Into drive. I got it at 72 on auto with heated seat on, regular headlights, of course, and time to hit the road. Nice rear steer pulling out of this station. Really, really love this thing. I'm excited to share the charging videos with you, which should be coming soon, because this thing charges like a freaking monster. It's just totally insane. So really looking forward to sharing with you the charging logs. And we're talking well over 300 kilowatts. I've seen over 360 kilowatts on this bad boy. So it's just, yeah, very impressive to say the least. Let's jump onto I-25. What we're going to do is run the loop from here in Wellington up to Cheyenne and back. And the usual loop, nothing to change here. It's about 57 to 60 miles, depending on a couple little variables. But time to go. And what we're going to do is jump on the highway, get it to 70 miles or 60 miles an hour GPS. The speedometer is dead accurate, by the way. And then just set it on Super Cruise. Let the truck do the work for us. I want to say a huge thank you to Magna for sponsoring this video. Guys, every week I thought it'd be pretty cool to highlight a specific Magna innovation, and in this case I want to talk about seats. Now, seats may not sound that interesting, but Magna's actually developed a really cool technology called freeform. Now, traditionally seat covers need to be stitched and sewed and hooked and looped in certain places whenever you want to tie down the material or have some sort of concave surface. But with a new innovation called freeform, the material itself can actually be molded to whatever shape you'd like. For example, take a look at this diamond pattern. When have you ever seen a fully embossed diamond pattern with no stitching? It's crazy. It's going to lead to the next generation of interior materials. I've actually even had a chance to try this out. And what's even crazier is the seat structure was the same as the factory OE spec. Freeform allowed the entire seat to feel and mold differently than the original seat. It was really crazy. Take a look at my reaction here. Let's see how this all... Okay, totally different, first of all. But it's the same seat structure.
It's the guts of the seat the production seat.
Whoa, totally different. So a huge thank you to Magna for sponsoring this video. We'll have a full in-depth video with Magna seating specifically on freeform coming to this channel very soon. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. Accelerating on the on-ramp now. Let's get it up to 60 miles an hour. 57, 58, 59, 60, locked in. We're going to also put Super Cruise on. It says unavailable, but now it's available. Looking for the lines and waiting for it to go green. Oh, I wasn't looking ahead enough. Hold on, let's try it again. Or maybe it just didn't have mapped. No road information, that's the issue. I could have sworn I was looking ahead. There we go. Now we're on Super Cruise. Takes a second sometimes to get totally adjusted as to what's going on here. But cruising along 60 miles an hour, you can hear all the wind noise in this thing. The roof rattles, makes noise, it's crazy. But everything else on this vehicle is really nicely put together. We did a full build quality analysis over on the Out of Spec Detailing channel. So there we go. We got 213 kilowatt hours of usable battery pack. We got wide open road ahead of us, and we'll be doing the loop there and back. I don't know what to expect, but don't expect anything super efficient. And temperatures have been pretty chilly. We're at 15 degrees right now. We've seen a low of 12 along the drive, and I expect it to only get colder as the loops go on. We're gonna kick it off of the speed right underneath the sign as we always do. We're gonna loop back on the highway and do the same thing in the opposite direction. The efficiency up here, oh boy, really not looking good. 1.1 mile per kilowatt hour at 60 miles an hour. That's crazy. But also keep in mind that we do gain a little bit of elevation, so I expect that to go up slightly on the way back down to Colorado. We are in Cheyenne right now, of course. Time to head south on I-25 back to Wellington, where we'll plug it back in and charge this thing back to 80%. Come on, people, move forwards. We're squeezing through in the Hummer. We can just push everyone out of the way in this thing. And here we are pulling back into the Chargers after a loop. Man, that loop feels so long at 60 miles an hour and then feels so fast at 80. So what we're going to do is charge this thing back up to 80%. Maybe we won't see anyone getting arrested, or maybe we will, like we did with the R1S 60, 70, and 80 mile an hour test. If you missed that, there was like a huge, I don't know, almost like a shootout going on over here. It's pretty wild. But, and we live in like the safest place on the planet. I thought it was crazy. But yeah, we're going to plug this thing back in, charge it up to 80. So that was, yep, 58.8 miles or so, 1.4 miles per kilowatt hour. What did I say? That was my prediction at the beginning, wasn't it? I said we'll drop 10 miles an hour, but the temperature also dropped compared to our 70 mile per hour range test. So yeah, let's see what happens when we bump it up another 10 miles an hour. And then I'm curious at 80 if we'll even be above 1 mile per kilowatt hour. Imagine if this thing at 80 miles an hour in cold temps can't get 1 mile per kilowatt hour. That'd be crazy. It's so cold, but there's no wind. You can see the flags barely moving. So Let me plug this sucker in. We'll get it charging. There we go, charging complete. Just got the notification. Time to go, 12:21. This is gonna be a late night heading out for the 70 mile per hour portion. By the way, I still have the spare tire removed. It's an optional accessory. I don't think it would make too much of a difference with efficiency, so gotta put it back in. That was a $14 charge. It took about 30 minutes. A lot of that is because the charger's slower than what the truck can accept. Although this truck charges pretty slow, around 80% state of charge. I probably should have chosen 70, but not the end of the world. I only have to charge it up one more time after this, because after we do the 80, I can plug it in at home. So let's start this thing up. Maybe I just shut it off actually. There we go, start it up, lit up. Let me set the temperature back down to where we've been driving, which is about 72 degrees. On automatic, dismiss. Are you sure you want to reset? Yes. Boom. Into drive. By the way, I'm just running my mode here, which is just basically normal settings here. There's no like efficiency mode in the Hummer EV. So headlights on, automatic, seatbelt on. Let's go run this thing at 70. We are now at 70 miles an hour, and you can tell it's significantly louder in here. The roof's starting to leak a little bit, let some air through. And not the most refined cruising experience. Ride comfort's good, but these all-terrains are loud. It's such a tall vehicle that you get all the wind, and well, you gotta give up some creature comforts for driving something this badass, in my opinion. So no complaints really from me. It's super cruising. I can put on some podcasts, got a pretty good sound system, and we're good to go. And we are just coming off the highway here at 70 miles an hour, back from where we started. I'll let you know the efficiency in the second, but that definitely went faster than when we were doing 60 miles an hour. Pulling in, and it's a chilly 11 degrees. We've seen as low as 10 degrees so far, but I think the Hummer EV's temperature sensor is a little bit either oversensitive or in a place that has varying temperature fluctuations. Pulling in at 1.2 miles per kilowatt hour. We're gonna plug it back in, charge it back to 80% state of charge, and then run this thing at 80 miles an hour, using that rear steer to get us in the parking space. What's crazy is I got out of this and into my Rivian earlier today, and I was like, wow, the Hummer almost feels nimble compared to the Rivian. So let's back it right to about there, throw it in park, and then we'll charge it up to 80%. I might try and get a little catnap in while it's juicing up. And there we go, charged back up to 80%. For some reason, it always cuts off at 79 indicated. That one we added 48 kilowatt hours with. Keep in mind, I am running the heater, so it is taking a little bit longer. That one took 34 minutes to charge up. But yeah, off we go. That was probably the final charging session, because again, I'll charge it up at home later on. But let's go run this thing at 80. Got a nice little nap in, beautiful, actually really cool. I just put the seat back a little bit and you got this cool sky to look out of there. That was pretty neat. Let's go run it. And here we go, merging on the highway now for the last time. Good, because I am ready for bed. I gotta go to Oslo first thing in the morning. This is the last video I'm getting in with the Hummer EV. I don't know when it'll go up. There's 70, we need another 10 miles an hour. Gotta give it the beans. 78, 79, 80, locked in. Wow, that feels so fast compared to what we normally do. Now you can use Super Cruise up to 85 miles an hour, and you can set the regular cruise control up to 100 miles an hour. The top speed is 106 indicated, allegedly. So yeah, let's just go. Lots of noise coming from everywhere now. Go run the loop and see what this thing comes in at. I would be shocked if it's over 1 mile per kilowatt hour. Look at this thing doing 94 kilowatts just to maintain 80 miles an hour on a slight downhill. It's getting real chilly out there. 8 degrees out. Oh boy. Can't wait for the snow to start flying. And here we are, ending the test at 2:30 in the morning at 1 mile per kilowatt hour. So wow, let's summarize the results here, but that's sort of exactly what I was expecting. This is one thirsty beast. So to summarize the results, running in, again, pretty cold temperatures. It was, you know, it got a little bit colder throughout the test, but I would say it was about 16 degrees when we first started, Fahrenheit, of course, and we saw a low of about 10 degrees. On the later runs, the second and the third, it was probably about 14 degrees with a low of 10 degrees. 8 degrees we saw for a brief period of time. But yeah, cold all around. Hummer EV at 60 miles an hour. Again, tire pressures were set normally to their manufacturer rated. Just before I did this test, we saw 1.4 miles per kilowatt hour at 60 miles an hour, 1.2 at 70, and 1 on the nose at 80. Certainly a couple points less efficiency than in warm weather is my impression, but there you have it. Thirsty beast, men's. But even at 1 mile per kilowatt hour, that's still 213 miles on a charge in single digit temperatures. That's not so bad. Because again, we pulled 213 out of it during the range test, assuming the battery's warm and you have full usable capacity. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. A lot of you probably are just like, this is ridiculously thirsty. It really is. But let me know if you like this test. Let me know if you want the procedures to change. I am off to Norway, so you'll be seeing some Euro videos coming very soon. And thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. See you in another one soon. Bye-bye.